Dames en heren, dames en heren. Ja, dat is mooi, dames en heren. Dat is mooi. Ja, dat is mooi. Maar hoor je mij ook? Hoor je mij? Maar hoor je mij ook? Ah, dat is toch vet, man. Dus, ja. Wel belangrijk, weet je. Vet die in die high zit. Shit, man. Shit. Vet. Shit. Ik heb net de audio. Ik werd afgesloten. Even die. Een beetje moe van die muziek hoor. Holy fuck. Ik ben helemaal warm al zitten luisteren. Oh, wat vet. Ah, ik heb geen zin om te luisteren. Nog een keer. Background playlist. Maar ja, als ik dan eigenlijk even snel vaak. Oké, ik kan het zo aanzetten natuurlijk. Als het mag. Of gaat hij met uitgooien? heb je zo een audio. Een feedback nou. Maar. Ah, fuck.
All right, you guys, I would say happy Wednesday, but Argentina, my house is in a state of mourning. Unfortunately, I have more bad news. Despite the best effort, the entire world reached out to our tip line yesterday in response to our silver alert. No one saw a bald man wandering around like he had a bad on September 10th. I am so we are doing our best. Morning in Blake, anybody's guess. And it turns out that Blake isn't the only person that is drawing blanks inspired for 10. Today we are going to return to the courtroom where there was a day 4 testimony that was given. Or a testimony that jogged.
Dude. So.
Who had this? story behind your shirt?
I asked Charlie in the car. I go, Charlie, what do you want to wear? He goes, I want to wear the Freedom shirt. Ooh, I can't.
The one that my son has with double.
No.
Missed twice.
Not
I would always say something. Never surrender. Here I am. It was he like taglines.
A lot happening there. He then Mike Boy comes out to make it seem like it was a really hard thing to pick out a T-shirt. The room, it's got a lot of T-shirts, and this guy Nate Walker like grabbed a couple. I guess turned to Charlie and said, "Which one would you like to wear?" And Charlie said, "I don't think it's controversial. I'm not known for being." Charlie, and he was just because it's not controversial. Remember us T-shirt and not even caring at all about that. Anyways, there's that. I did happen to ask some turning point these former and current worked with them. And so there you go. Uncustomed made for Charlie. More tips at CandiceOak.com. It's just interesting. Another quick update, and I think worked with Bank of America. We're like, wow, all these people, parents working at Bank of America at the exact same time. How interesting, how fascinating. And it turned out for 15 years, worked as a consultant in New Jersey to Bank of America. 2011. Who knew? I actually am wondering. Dad, who technically and his family during that exact same time, he needed to serve as an executive to the Bank of America. It is just incredible. You know, from Bank of America to politics, it kind of makes me want to open a Merrill Lynch account, right? Check out this headline following Frank Turek's ouster. It tells us this is the Christian in 2011 that he was the Christian consultant. Marriage. The article tells us that months after being fired from Cisco Systems in California over an anti-gay marriage book, Christian consultant Dr. Frank Turek was also from Bank of America. Turek was doing work on and off for Bank of America for about 15 years. Mainly conducting leadership and team building programs. Other clients have included Coca-Cola, Home Depot. Among others, the U.S. Navy veteran was hired America's Global Business Management Analysis in the Global Wealth and Investment Management. Wealth and Investment. I talked about that yesterday. I'm just wondering if Anyway, today, what I wanted to discuss with you guys is a portion of the Tyler Robinson hearing, a portion that was given by Sergeant Jennifer. She safety, and I was sitting on a couch taking notes, Carrie Prejean Bowler on my side. We were on a couch in Spain, and I will tell you, I completely find that I'm having a memory from the back to the front of my mind. Tyler, I want you the social
Officers were canvassing the scene. They were also trying to the route of the shooter as well as just trying to find the shooter. And they there were unattended items.
And we're certainly. And what were of those seizures? Was it 9? Does that ring a bell?
Don't remember.
To the up. Shed some of these items. And you were requesting that both DNA and other type of analysis get done?
Yes.
At some point, did you decide to pull a plug on that?
At the time, it was already sent. We didn't have more information as far as whether or not the evidence that were collected were positive.
But eventually you communicated to the lab that those items were not in fact connected with the case and there was no need to do further.
No.
I'm mentioning because some of the reports, the lab reports, have those listed.
Okay.
Shit.
And were no.
Oh, dude.
Global interest in this case. Do you find it was like we talked
Oh, man.
at the bus stop to this question that the person this particular route. So you guys know the library is not near the Lozu Center. So the reason why that route became these abandoned of which calling in her fuzzy memory, there was actually no to be tested, and then suddenly you told the Fed to test it. Do you remember how to test it? Okay, well it's in their note. Right, yeah, note. Yeah. Near the Fulton Library. But anyway, the reason that details immediately jogged my memory was because of that route, right? Back in the early specifically that they were there by the bus stop, and they actually ended up making a report about having seen person black tactical gear and intentionally having every piece of their body covered in tactical gear. Tactical gloves. I don't think we're talking winter gloves. Like I said, and somebody can tell me in the chat here, 85 degrees in. So I think if you found gloves, just relevant in general, who's wearing, bringing, holding, and dropping gloves? And what were the other 6 items that were found? This told me, spoke to students at the bus stop in front of the library, and he also described that he was able to do that to also be the only person who captured the gunman on Rosie Center in a video as he began lying down the street. This video.
Oh, Baba.
Easy to track him down, but I've stayed in touch with him since, and he has never.
Ja, jullie zijn allemaal echt killer. Ook wat echo op.
He realized that the person referring to Playboy George Zinn can't be that. He's too old. The fact that he contacted him once a few days later.
Kom er eentje in. Hoppa. Ja, dit is nog even wat anders. Want hier gaat weer wat gebeuren. En
Because it happens to with guns.
hebben ze niks aan gedaan. Nou, je gooit er nog maar eentje in. Hoppa.
Assassination, and I haven't, so you know, edited out any identifying information regarding who this person is for now until he wants to fully move forward. Take a listen.
About 5 seconds after I stopped recording is when that person fired. And shoulders on the roof.
Mm-hmm.
But we, the little pack going off sounded like a sharp muzzle report. It sounded more like an AR than a large bore gun, you know, around the desert or something like that. So yes.
In the video, you say that you witnessed him running. Feds reports say that he dropped onto that Losey Center roof at 12:15. So, where did you see him running? Was it right that he really dived into the shot, or did he?
He was in and he we saw him clear the edge of the building and bob up and down. He would go down and look around and run maybe 6 feet forward and then go down and look around again. He was in position. I was, of course, only able to film the head and shoulders. Viewing the event there on the roof, and you can tell my video is about 20 seconds. So it took him about 10 seconds to get from the end view to where he laid down to shoot. There for 20 seconds. About 5 seconds.
Okay.
He was maybe on the ground for 5 seconds.
Okay, and just in what you saw with your eyes, does he was wearing? Because actually on the police scanner, they just a guy.
slightly larger head than normal.
Specifically, he tells me. I
Alright.
um. Is it professional? Maybe some of like even military experience. I don't know. Most crucially, he instantly, immediately has maintained that that gun was small nuclear weapons. And he tells me in other conversations it looks like a 223. So that, I would guess, is probably the reason the prosecution did not want to description doesn't go well with their fed, sloppy narrative. And remind you, Rosie Center over to the library. Clear that's the route that the shooter took. That's why we had to recover these items. But then I don't remember why we decided not to test these items, which sounds. Can't say that convincing. A little pot for a jacket and some gloves. And remember,
I see.
Just east, right? Advising there is gunshots heard near the library at UVU. They're trying to lock the library.
UVU library.
Student said that the shooter is on top of the building on the far north side of the CS building or of the library. He's wearing jeans, black shirt, black mask, long rifle.
What are we supposed to make of that? We just ignore all of those things. How far back? And again, her demeanor makes me uncomfortable as she's testifying. When you say you just don't remember something on that day, I don't buy it. Everybody had adrenaline rushing through them. This is going to be the biggest manhunt plausibly in the history of the United States, and you're telling me you just what happened when you asked the FBI? You asked the FBI to no longer test those items, or is that what the FBI? Public. And then she just gets in that moment, in my view. Anyway, we'll be right back after a brief break. All right, you guys, our great nation turned 250 this year. We represent growth in some of the greatest minds in human history. Special gift of 250 honor our country's milestone anniversary. Others choose life by providing these free ultrasounds. And I want to tell you guys about Field of Greens because way before the food industry failed us and started making organic Organic fruits and vegetables are the superfoods your body needs. Fast food with the junk and inflammation that follows crashing your system. Tired and weak. Check out fieldofgreens.com. 100% organic fruits and vegetables ground into a fine powder. Every ingredient is critical functions throughout the body. Someone in the chat is reminding me that there was also found an unfired round that was and when questioned about why they didn't really do it, they were a ridiculous answer. That is correct. I told that. A lot of again, this seems to be like they didn't really want to hold, and you wonder if this person was jumped and was simply there to gather footage. It really makes you wonder who was on and why they are ignoring reports that they've received. We need to know more about what was found at the front of the library. Also, guys, you can pull up that map and you can just let me know in my ear whenever you have it ready. I'd like to see where that science tech building is relative to the Rosie Center. Also to the library, if that's moving on here. Imagine, if you would, for a second, a widow who was grieving different. A widow who has been grieving for years, has many questions, and is unsatisfied with a narrative that grows really weaker by the day. Truly, I'm looking at my feed today and people are like, I can't believe that a year ago I just trusted the narrative on Butler. Like, people who supported Trump are going, we're completely duped. And they can't even imagine themselves asking this question. We revisited the Butler assassination and speculated that Corey Comparator, the only person who lost his life on that day, may have even been targeted. Well, guess what? His widow, Helen, still has questions, and she spoke out and has made it very clear that she is unsatisfied with the investigation. She wasn't ready to go on Barry Weiss 2 weeks later and say she trusts everything 100% despite seeing nothing. She's fully convinced what happened to her husband. That's not what Helen didn't wear sparkly pantsuit. Helen didn't hire a bunch of influencers to target people that were questioning the narrative. Helen become the firefighter that her husband was and take on his job and say she was qualified because she knew how much he loved to fight fires. She's just a whole different breed of a widow, one that we're familiar with. Grieving widow. I just wanted to state that. It's a stunning comparison. When you see this, what year was Butler? 2000. When you reminded me of my year, I can't even remember. It's been how many? It's been, yeah. It has now been 2 years. Grieving, and she is still asking questions. And so she sat down for an interview with the Nation and spoke about all of the Secret Service failures, and he had to say.
You've expressed belief that the gunman, Thomas Crooks, didn't act alone.
I don't believe there was another shooter. I believe it was an inside job inside the government somewhere. Yep.
Have you seen evidence to that?
Oh, I've heard things, but I've had something that happened with me just after, when you're starting to put the pieces together, it just made total sense.
What will help give you
and the people who put this all together that day are caught. And it comes out.
So if you had a message for President Trump, what would it be?
Forget us and remember what we went through that day. You know, we're here and we need answers.
Comparator says it was a year before the Secret Service actually reached out to her. The questions that she did ask, says they didn't answer them. Reaching out to President Trump, hoping that he will intervene, apply so she can get answers as to what happened to her.
I tell Helen, you don't need to hire influencers to say, you just watched that and your intuition told you that is aggrieved. That is a woman that is asking rightful questions. You can still see in her eyes. She's not over it. And when they ask her, why would she be? Are you ready? Why didn't she come out and say, I forgive Matthew Crooks? Because she's still, there's no forgiveness until you know the truth. Until somebody asks for forgiveness. Until somebody says, I am sorry. You know nothing and I'm good. You husband, a father of my children, I'm good. That is not a $1 million campaign to convince you that Helen Comparator is in pain. You don't need the Department of Justice, an emotional asset, interviews with famous people. You don't need Nicki Minaj. You just needed to just listen to Helen Comparator, and you said, that's what it looks like. That's what it sounds like. Someone who is not going to be at peace until they get true answers about what happened to her husband. I was going to attack her. Threatening via lawsuits. Calling people names who are asking rightful questions. It's just stunning. Every time you see it, you don't know what it is, but it moves you spiritually, right? It moves you spiritually. When you see it, you know it is the truth, honesty, clarity, perspective. Everybody grieves differently. Nope. No. What do you want her to do? Stay in the house for a year? Yeah. I say that when they keep asking this question, what do you expect Erica to do? Stay at home and yeah, I do actually. At least mentally, yeah, I did expect that he would. And the whole world actually expected that. So sort of reverse psychology. This is. You're now making it weird that we think it's weird that she's not doing it. On behalf of the entire world, yeah, we think it's weird. We expect her to be torn apart on the pursuit, asking all the right questions, teaming up with people who are asking questions, helping them put the pieces together. Didn't expect her in the office laughing at emojis 6 days later. I gotta be honest. I don't know. Monster. So we by the 11th day. No, I'm not buying it. You know what else I'm not buying? And it turns out that you guys are not either. Is the bot campaign, the Israeli influence operation, the Farah docs that were filed following Charlie's assassination, almost immediately following Charlie's assassination. Clock Tower X, we talked about the Israeli foreign quite literally hiring Brad Parscale, the former Trump campaign manager, his firm Clock Tower X to conduct a legitimate campaign on behalf of Israel. Like we wouldn't notice. We're in bots in every comment section, calling us names, screaming at us, being absolute psychos. So that's really going to bring us over to the bots. Agree with Brad Parscale. Israel. $5 million a day, and that he was a paid stooge. Every single full-time job. Down this block because I'm like, you're not a real person, and you're obviously paid, and they own that. They're being paid. We know that they are, and they're using this word. talking about how the trends are obvious because they're all using the same. The evidence is overwhelming that Tyler Robinson did this. That felt influence and others who have common sense. And so it talks about how, which I didn't know, that Brad Parscale was the owner or a part owner of the company Influenceable. And that's when they essentially text everyone, they offer them money, and they say, go out and say this, and we'll pay you depending on how many people you get your post is. And that's why they're tweeting all day like psychopaths when you're going, is this your full-time job? How are you tweeting about Candace Owens 300 times a day? Is this your full-time job? They're trying because they get paid off of the engagement. There's actually a really important article for you to read. That under the agreement, Parscale is meant to produce 100 pieces of content each week, and 80% of it is supposed to be aimed at Gen Z. YouTube, and they basically just drafted this services agreement pledged to amplify the campaign with the Salem Media Network properties, which we have discussed on this show, targeting Christians, targeting we're supposed to get behind Trump and say, go ahead, do that genocide, do the thing. We love that. Kill some more children. I've been influenced to believe you're the victim as you kill, I guess. And what is that? What is at the root of the campaign, right? That's it. I honestly don't understand why the Israeli foreign minister didn't reach out to me. I consulted why it's going because people don't want to be disrespected. You think we're so stupid that we can't recognize a sock puppet account? We can't see that it's not possible for someone to be tweeting 300 times a day about one topic. And by the way, people that have no brain cells, who don't even want to watch an episode, or they just, this person's stupid. They're name calling, they're nasty. They're not offering anything, just attacking people. You're going to send out attack dogs and expect to make friends. It's a new world. This has been the entire lesson of this year. I suppose there was a time when this worked. Ad spend equal results, right? That worked. That is the world that Blake Lively lived in, right? Too big to fail. Just flying towards the sun, never thinking that you might get closer, right? Just getting closer. Well, I'm friends with them. I know this person. I have contact. I can hit up Trump, the story of Turning Point USA, the story of Blake Lively. We're too big to fail. And Ryan Reynolds, we're A-listers. And all of these people are failing because we live in a new age, okay? It's just, that's over. That method doesn't work. What you're going to have to do is respect audiences to make up their own mind. Try articulating. Being willing to sit down and have a conversation and treat them like human beings rather than like people that are so dumb. Is offer them influencers and they're not going to have these people who have supported and they and so you see just the entire collapse. I'm so proud of us. I am so proud of us moving away from these people who think, well, we have the money and the connections to destroy you and to sue you if you don't agree with us. Like, it's just so weak. And any person that follows that model is going to fail now and into the future. Anyway, I want to very quickly read this because I had received a tip and somebody had mentioned to us, I said to you, if you work at a car dealership, because we're kind of looking for what I think could also be decoy Dodge Challengers to see if you guys rent that car out on the 10th. And somebody mentioned to me, pardon? Oh, yeah, I won't say the person's name, sorry. Lily starts with, please don't say my name. But this person reached out to us and also reminded us that it could have been somebody who went to via the Attleboro in those areas. So if Salt Lake City, Utah, I would also say Las Vegas, if you have a car and it got rented during those days. Also, is a very small, where Blake and them landed, is a detail from the airport. So there's rental. It's called. And people are wondering maybe that's where Blake blacked out. We are just trying to do this to help him, by the way. That's it. We just want to help this old creature who doesn't remember what he did that morning. We're here for him. Even the ones that don't deserve help. Okay, let's take a break, and then I will get to some more comments. All right, you guys, one snack that you will always find in my bag is Paleo Valley beef sticks. Whether I'm running between meetings, traveling, heading to the kids' activities, or just needing something quick between meals, these what I love is that they don't make you choose something healthy, and Paleo Valley uses 100% grass-fed and grass-finished beef sourced from American family farms. But let's be honest, the reason I keep buying them is because of the flavor. The original is classic. It's my favorite. And the teriyaki is the right amount of sweet. They're savory, satisfying, and actually taste like real food. I always keep a few in my bag, my car, and even my carry-on because someone in my family is always hungry. They're one of those snacks. Sticks. Once you try them, you will probably start keeping a stash in your bag. You can use code Candace at checkout. That's PaleoValley.com, promo code Candace at checkout. Because it is no secret that everything is a lot more expensive. Those double-digit interest and if you're a homeowner, you've likely looked at your mortgage and thought, I can't touch my mortgage rate. Well, American Financing offers a smart equity loan so that you don't have to. It allows you to wipe out your monthly overhead while keeping your primary mortgage intact. It's a surgical strike against debt. Loan is a fixed rate loan, giving you a American Financing are never the upfront fees. These are the net/wellness perfectly coordinated. This is when we're all going to do this. Who knows? Hand signs. Who knows what they're doing? And crouch down. People are reporting that, and then they hear the sound of a boom, so to speak, in case it is the mic. All that's meant to be a distraction, and they were tasked with just crouching low and then running. I actually tend to agree with you on that. If we're allowed to think and investigate, I do not believe that anybody described recoiling. Conversations that I had with an individual who you just heard from said that he did not witness the actual shot, but, you know, saw him in the prone position, obviously saw everything, heard everything, and I think this is the reason they are avoiding him. This is the reason they are avoiding him. That they are saying Tyler used to kill Charlie. We've just seen no evidence that Tyler Robinson had anything to do with my investigation. I believe was around campus. On campus were decoys. Tyler was around campus, and he was tasked with dumping an accessory to but of seen through with this more of that overwhelming evidence that we haven't seen yet. Top comment from yesterday's episode, including the board, just writing no Andrew and Blake are building Andrew and Blake. Not agreeing with her. USA. I am so the person that we are focused on. I still to this day sit down with Blake Nash that I my home to sit down. Otherwise, probably do any. You've got a little tricky. You live in a technological any place, I would like to. To my face. I can't come back. People try to believe. No one can make me come back for a person who lied about the surgeon. Address that. Make that make sense of why you pull that why won't you address that? Come out and say, no, Candace is lying. That really is what happened. The surgeon went rogue. Andrew went rogue. Andrew even tweeted and went rogue. And I stand by that. It deserves a response. Of the organization that basic answers to the question. Anyway, this person actually comments for today. Oh, I actually say, sorry, this is amazing. He really did say this. The morning of September 10th, Blake Neff. Why do I even remember such a thing? He's just a character. He's remember. More comments. Today's episode, Truth and Dale writes, I live in Michigan, Carhartt, a Michigan company. Safe to say. Custom. Carl Mack. That's very funny. Chris Angelo writes, Carly had the utmost confidence in herself. Yes, Trump for them to rob him of a legitimate investigation, pervert his words, and completely undo everything. Christ is king. Yeah, I mean, that really is the worst part is the organization is upside down. It's nothing that Charlie believed in. Charlie did not believe he did not believe in calling speech violence. He stood so against that. The idea that speech is violence. You question a narrative, you should be thrown into prison. This is communism. Turning Point USA went from commies real quick, right? Throw them in the gulag. And except the difference here is that they try to use God as a front. Dare you? It's what you're doing is against the word of God to ask questions about why nothing you're being told makes sense. It's so strange to me. It's like they want us to be in a cult where we just follow Erica and Andrew Colvett and Blake because, well, we were with Charlie in the final days. So are you carrying on Charlie's message? Turning Point USA became big because they were honorable. Charlie was honorable. Not the people around him clearly towards the end, but Charlie was honorable. You know, he went on and was willing to have that conversation. He constantly talked about the battlefield of ideas. The battlefield of ideas. He wore the shirt, the catchline, government sucks. Now, the catchline should be the big government is great. More big government, more Kash Patel, more undeserved appointments to the Air Force Board or whatever. He believed in a meritocracy. I stood next to him. I don't believe he's more of Charlie Kirk than me. He talked about a meritocracy. We talked about the American dream, meaning based on your who you are, what you can accomplish, you should be able to climb to the top. He didn't believe in innovation. He didn't believe in, well, Lindsey Graham is dead, so now his sister becomes a senator. What is this? You're everything on its head. And so, yeah, at the end of the day, when people say that Turning Point USA died with Charlie, they are correct. I don't know what this organization is. I hope they find their footing. The footing will not be found without the truth. Draper. But a description was including a vest and in those Fed text messages. We had the not wearing. I think we don't know, but we know. It's going to be that Penguin Steakhouse thing that's going to throw things for a loop. And there are receipts. Jennifer Hofer writes, just because Harpole and his trolls tell us what happened in the car doesn't mean security. That's Brian. Why should we believe what they say? Brian was updating. I'm starting to believe they watched him die. You know, two theories that are interesting for Dan Flood with the Metaglass based on, but they appear to be. I mean, I don't know if Turning Point has ever disputed that. I don't think anybody really watches the Charlie Kirk show. Maybe they have. But it certainly looked like those were Metaglass. Some people think that could be. And the other, Frank Turek, getting ahead of things. They kind of tell stories to get ahead of things that might eventually come out, right? So Frank Turek is what if there were more people on that call? We don't know. No idea. If there are more people on that call. None of these people have their phone. Anybody? Because why would we? Why do we? I don't know. Because no one believes you. Good reason. Everyone thinks you're lying about everything. You've lost the faith of the people, and you kind of need the people to run a charity. You need the charity of the people to run a charity. Or, you know, float and fly on the FBI. I don't know. The other, I guess the only other person would be the driver. Going for an hour. Updating Ben's security. We'll find out. I do know who he was having lunch with. It's actually an episode. We will, probably going to be just a topic I covered, but it deserves a whole episode. FS Claire writes, former U.S. Army here, the person you spoke to is describing what is called individual movement technique, IMT. It's what someone does when crossing a danger area, reacting to sniper fire. Normal people do not move like that, only trained people do. He's referring obviously to Paul, this Eric, and him describing these tactical movements. And that person, like I said, is very credible and very qualified to know what he's talking about, and clearly you are as well, IMT. And the reason why you both know is because the average person wouldn't know that. So where did Tyler Robinson learn those moves if we're supposed to go with the narrative that it was him and everyone could see it in 4K HD at the very end of the 5th day of the hearing? The influencers were shown it. Where did he learn those movements? Was he just like practicing that? This person writes, have you noticed law tubers who made bank off championing anti-establishment underdogs like Kyle Rittenhouse and Johnny Depp are now ready to convict Tyler Robinson on that overwhelming evidence? Did Brad Parsk propaganda? I mean, it is pretty obvious that many people are being paid to push this. And the thing about a lie is it just always kind of... What made you flip? And like I said, that time breaks down. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. But you're on borrowed time because it is almost impossible to rebuild trust. Page it. If I'm running, if Israel's paying me tens of millions of dollars, like I'm trying to think about this. How would I be a fraud? How would I be a fraud? I'd be so like thoughtful about it. I'd be like, you know what? We've done some things wrong. I would like to see more evidence. I do think it's Tyler Robinson, but I'm not 100% there yet. But maybe some more people were involved. Like, cage it a little bit, you guys. Cage it a little bit. Bring it inward. You know, I'd like to hear more from Lance. There certainly could have been some footage was clearer. I still think it's Tyler, but I'm a little upset that the footage wasn't clear. We could just move on from it. That's what I'd probably say to sound like I wasn't a paid propagandist, right? These people are like all out, like don't believe your own eyes. Only listen to us, follow our instructions. It's him without a doubt. The evidence is overwhelming. I'm fainting from the overwhelming. The whelming is happening. Me and all these influencers, they're just not good. They're just like sleazy car salesmen. You know what I mean? It's like watching, for those of you who have seen Matilda, the car scene there. Like it's a sleazy used car salesman. Is what they are. And screaming and yelling and that you're supposed to fall. It's not working, guys. Please, back to the drawing board. Israel, back to the drawing board. Call me. Call me. Yeah, I know we're not friends. Whatever. Call me. I will consult for free and tell you why it's all not working. And again, it's just because people aren't stupid. Last comment. Candace, I know you're not a Real Housewives fan. I used to be. But you are giving from Real Housewives of receipt, proof, timeline, screen, at all because I out actually when I was a lot younger. I hope that's a compliment. I hope I'm certainly gonna look it up, maybe watch an episode, respond to that. All right, you guys, if you would like to support the show and the work that we do, the research that we do, and what we bring you, the easiest way to do that is to buy merch on the website. Please do that. Buy a Steelers cup. Christmas in July. There is. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know why we say it. Why do we say Christmas in July, guys? Today is Christmas in July. Today is Christmas in July. Stop anti-Candacism. Get yourself a sweatshirt, a Crisis King sweatshirt, Christian stickers, because right now, the person that you in fact, if you're a woman and watching this, get you anything, that I would just send him a link and see what he. Anyway, you guys, we will see you tomorrow. We have book club this Friday at 4 p.m. But otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow.